It's Frankenstein. That way.
All right. We're back. Finally back. Good to be
finally back. What it do, baby boo?
And boy, has
Baby.
some stuff going on.
Oh man,
And
it's a wild time in the world to be in the world right now. You know what I'm saying?
in the world, yeah.
Yeah.
Be on Earth.
You'd be like, oh, it's a hard time to be in America or in Denver or in, it's a hard time to be in the world. It's a hard time to be anywhere in the world right now, boy.
You think so?
I think so. Here's the thing is that if you are not from the United States, I wonder how much, I don't know, how much more concerned you are when these motherfuckers playing with you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you could be
World War
going in
III.
so many directions here.
Yeah.
Literally anywhere across the world, any continent nearly, except for maybe one. There's, some kind of war going on. It seems like there.
Yeah.
Maybe not all the same types of wars, but boy, every continent.
Yeah. And then if some wild shit goes down, you don't even got to be close. They fuck around and accidentally change the world, change the Earth. And everybody's affected. In any case,
You think
let's
there's-
be affected real quick by some coastal attitude. Huh?
Coastal attitude. Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
That's what it says right here.
I'm trying to read it, but
This says coastal attitude on it. Hey, Eric, do we got the intro for the beer joint, the cool intro? Get 'em.
In the corner with the brew guy, Spencer breaks it down with the sip and the tip. Beer talks all around, from the tap to the can. Every style, every
Let's get
brand.
faded out now.
He's the beer man in command.
yeah.
Raising glass with the fan.
Yeah. I'm just thirsty. That's why I want to get to this. Also, I feel like we earned it. You know what I'm saying? Here we are. Look at us.
Here we are
Look at us here.
celebrating. Ooh. Celebration knife pull.
Not talking about.
I am not excited to drink this beer at all.
Am I supposed to shake it or spin it or anything?
I don't see any type of instruction on it, so I'd say no.
All right. Well.
Oh, what are we drinking here, Justin?
We're drinking an oyster pilsner.
You didn't read that
No,
part?
I did not read that part.
That was the part I was
Oyster
asking if you
Pilsner.
saw.
No, a collab with Oyster Wolf. Okay, fuck.
You're just now seeing this,
All
really?
right. I just
This is
now
why
I get it.
don't
You've
want
been
to drink.
You've been talking about this whole time. Oh, I don't want to drink this. I'm like, it looks cool.
It does look cool.
looks
Looks like the arm of a bartender at a place that smokes drinks.
Why are we drinking an oyster pilsner?
Well, for a while we had this beer that I really love, and you called it a fish beer, and so mostly this is just like retaliation for
'cause
saying
I
that
called-
against that beer that I love, and now we have to drink a fucking oyster pilsner.
You were like, you want to
Because
fucking
of
drink a fish beer?
my vengeance.
That's crazy. So our producer can't drink one because my person over here got a shellfish joint. Or no, am I making that up?
I thought I remembered that, but it was too good to pass up.
Okay, well, fuck. Lucky you,
Lucky
producer.
us.
Fucking shit.
Oh boy, I'm not.
All right, oyster. Well, so wait, why are we doing this again? Oh, okay. I remember you already said. It's not because the world's coming to an end.
It might be. My beer.
JK, y'all,
This might be the
JK.
last beer I ever drink. We'll see how it goes.
Fuck, dude. It doesn't smell bad. I let you go first.
I was waiting for you, but went for it. It's fine. Tastes like any other Pilsner to me.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't. I don't taste no oyster or anything.
Maybe there's like a little brininess, maybe like a little salt, like kind of note to it. But
It almost tastes like they made it with seawater.
yeah, that's about it.
But like
just
they
a little
filtered
bit.
they filtered the seawater, but they made it with seawater.
Yeah, just got a little hint. But
I don't know, but my tongue is also expecting to gag, so like it's doing this like salivating thing all around. You know, when your shit is like, now get everything lubricated.
It's about to go down.
We're ejecting soon. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, it's not bad at all. And, I'm not surprised by that because Cerebral Brewing is fucking top notch. And in this brew apocalypse time where there's been like 20 different breweries that have closed over the last 6 months and they keep dropping like flies, and Cerebral's opening in another location. They now have 3. The neighborhood one that nobody got to see the video of, and they have their original one right off of like Colorado Boulevard in Colfax, and then now they have one up in the Highlands, and they make great fucking beer, really good beer. And I was so excited when they opened up their Aurora location. Finally, they owned the building for many years before they actually opened anything in there. They just used it for brewing and storage. And
So this is
now it's open.
So, and that's not this, or that is this?
It's from this brewery.
Oh, but this brewery is like other places too, not just, they just opened one here. Is that what you're saying? Or
Yeah.
did they make this here?
They made, I don't know if they made this one at the Aurora Brewery or at one of the other breweries. I don't know, but it's all like same team, and well, there's different teams of people, but yeah, I don't know which brewery. Does it say on here? I wonder if it's.
I better be getting some omega-3s from this hoe.
Some omega-3s.
It does. There's like something on the end of it that's just like, yeah, colder's probably best.
Right? Yeah.
At least it's not fishy though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
at
saying?
least it's not fishy.
Speaking of the fish, what were you gonna say?
I've never had a fishy beer before.
I can't say that I have either.
You have said that you did.
I had fish
Liar.
beer.
Yeah. That's why I brought this beer on, because I know how much you love fish beer.
Oh, because that one that you had me taste that tasted like fish?
You said it tasted like fish, but you just said that you've never had a beer that tasted like fish.
No, I said I never had a fish beer unless you gave me a fish beer that day, and that's why I said that. And if that's why I said that, then fair.
It's it's called Two Hearted. Like the trout.
Okay, but it's not made. There's no trout in it.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, there was no reason for that beer to taste like fish. This one, tastes like fucking batteries.
Yeah. It's a little over carbonated, it feels like. Like champagne.
All right.
It tastes like beer, but it's like bubbly like champagne.
Well, if we have to suffer with this, how about you tell me something fun? Let's talk about something, because I'm sure everybody's expecting us to immediately talk about all the things going on. Do you have anything fun we could talk about?
Fun. Golly, I don't know.
Funny? Interesting in a not fucking violent or you know.
I've been watching a lot of NASCAR documentaries.
All right. Well, that's the end of the podcast, y'all. It's been great to see you. We're gonna speed on out of here, huh? No,
Just right out here to the left. Just take it left. Next left.
fucking
No, the next
shake
left.
and bake our way out of this place.
Next left.
Nah, man. I'm even thinking like, what about like any shows or movies or anything that you fuck with lately?
Gosh, I went through like a lot of the Star Wars movies, and
The new ones?
all of them.
I've never been a Star Wars fan.
What?
I didn't grow up with that.
You don't need to grow up with it. If you like Harry Potter, you can easily like Star Wars.
Nah, I
It's better.
I don't know if I can.
If you like Lord of the Rings, you can like Star Wars.
It's it's almost like
It's a multi-generational saga.
I know the original ones and then the prequels, like the foundation there.
Yeah.
It's like the style of. It's like they're doing a play, and they're not very good. That's what it feels like watching that. When you're not like, when you don't grow up with one of the Star Wars movies and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then so all of it kind of falls into place of like, so the way they act in your mind is natural. Like, this is the way they act on Star Wars. If you didn't grow up with that as an adult, when you watch this, you're like, none of these motherfuckers can act. Or they're just acting. Or it's like the director is doing a really good job of being like, act like you can't act. No. Let's do it again.
I can definitely.
You looked like you could act too much on that take.
You can
do it again.
You can say that for.
Do it again like you can't act.
You could say that for definitely some of the acting in definitely the episodes like 3, 4, and 5, and then episodes 1, 2, and episodes 4, 5, 6, and then episodes 1, 2, 3. Those definitely, but the newest ones like
that's what I heard, but
are really fucking good.
Guess I gotten into it. I mean,
and when you watch some of the newer shit that Disney's done, it's really good. That fills in the stories in between some of them, and like if you start with watching when like I don't know, I'm always on a different angle on which order you should watch them, and if you were going to watch them, because some people say watch them like just in timeline order, or some people say no, you got to watch these ones and you got to watch these ones in like release order, or some other kind of reason to shift which way because of the way that the movies are written and out there. But also timeline order is a good way to go too. But I found it easier to watch it in not the timeline order personally. But
can't say that I'm interested yet. But it's fuck with stuff like that.
It's rad because it's like it's like 3 different generations that you go through of like this person that's like more than others at the Force, right? And there's this bloodline that this whole story goes through, but that whole time is like this bigger political drama of like the resistance versus the Empire, and all of the Star Wars are like them trying to be like a nation that is the fucking Republic, which are kind of like the sane and normal, and the fucking Darth Vader guys and all them. They're trying to basically make this weapon that can destroy planets, and because they just want to be able to do what they want and rule the galaxy out there, and they're trying to stop that from happening. And that's the whole thing with like the original ones that came out first, is like you get to like see them destroy this weapon, but the rest of them are all around this giant resistance to stop them from making this weapon, and all the details and ins and outs of it all go into the movies, and then all the TV shows like weave into it, from like bounty hunters and different kinds of creatures and aliens, and like it's badass, dude. Like you just have to go into it with the open mind you did when you watched Harry Potter for the first time.
I did for sure. Tried, but maybe I haven't given none of the new ones really. I think I tried watching a little bit of The Mandalorian, but then even still, like I couldn't. In that moment, I couldn't get past that. I didn't care for any of the previous stories, so I was trying to jump in.
And some of them are good on their own and stand well on their own. Some of them are a lot better when you understand the story.
What about any new shows? You fuck with any new shows besides the new Star Wars?
New shows that I really liked. I watched a few different new shows.
Fuck with Ted Lasso?
Never seen it.
Oh, y'all fuck with Ted Lasso, boy. Ted Lasso is like, it's Arthur for adults.
Arthur?
Yeah. Arthur is like it's just a TV show for kids,
to teach
and
them,
it's just a wholesome TV show where he goes through kid type problems, and there's always some moral, and it's always like the happy ending, and you always learn something tight, and it's just like, but they try to give different situations that kids go through in Arthur. That's essentially Ted Lasso is every episode is just this wholesome, dude. It's the most wholesome fucking show you've ever seen. They hit a little fun moral and everything. Has some of the dopest hip hop references in a TV show. Because my man's Ted Lasso goes off like he does like he riffs a lot, and like these other these like I don't know, these like analogies.
And he's like
And
a
a lot of
soccer coach or something.
He's a football coach from Kansas that gets hired to be a soccer coach and doesn't know anything about soccer.
Oh, I've done that before.
Yeah, and
I coached soccer and I had never played a game.
you should absolutely watch the show, but it's not really about coaching. Well, I guess it is about coaching in some ways, but it's more. Again, it's Arthur for adults.
Huh.
It's fucking awesome.
Interesting. I might check it out. I don't know. It sounds kind of boring.
Fuck no, it's fucking funny.
Have you ever seen the Netflix show Love, Death, and Robots? No?
That one's popped up on my thing, but no, never watched it.
Man, some of the craziest television. Like, have you ever seen Black Mirror?
Yep, I fuck with Black Mirror.
So imagine some of the concepts they do on Black Mirror, but the format is like different, really big animation studios. So you'll see like this story played out in like what looks like Pixar animation, but it's, you know, somebody getting their head chainsawed off in this crazy zombie apocalypse like scenario with robots and all this shit, because it's all like some apocalyptic or some different like wild fucking shit, like just stuff that like is for me was just like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. The animation's like crazy high level stuff where it's not some of it is like crazy anime style. There might be one of those, but it switches every episode, so it keeps like that really fresh. And some episodes are 25 minutes long, some of them are like 15 minutes long, and it's just however long.
And it's called Love, Death, what?
Love, Death, and Robots. I think that's
Love, Death,
right?
and Robots. Yeah, that's
I haven't seen all
four
volume 4. I've only seen 1, 2, and 3.
trailer. What the fuck? This looks like a video game.
Yeah. Some of the animation is just like video game stuff.
And so, like, it's a continuous story.
No, they're all separate.
So it's like Black Mirror.
Yeah,
so they're like,
that's what
it's
I
like
mean,
short
right?
stories. Yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Anthology.
So good. Like, they're all so crazy and good. Like,
Yeah, this looks crazy.
it is. It's so good. Like, do you recognize some of the animation from like video game like studios, or some of the animation like you can see like?
And so
what's
each
that
one is done by a
treasure-
different studio?
I think
Or-
most of them, yeah.
That's tight.
Different designers. And there's another series like this that's in the Marvel canon that's called What If. That's really cool too. If you're into Marvel, What If does the same format of animation, different. Like What If is all like just like doing crazy scenarios. Like what if the Hulk turns evil, and like what if so and so wins in this match instead of what if the one with the gauntlet doesn't die, and like, you know, when he closes his hand and kills everybody, he dies too, right? I think, or he does or doesn't, but like that's one of the stories, and that one's really fun and cool too, and different animation styles with Marvel, and that's some good shit. I like nerdy TV stuff a lot of the time, you know, and or I'm like watching.
Did you watch the 3 Body Problem?
No, I remember seeing it, but
That
it
one's
sounded
pretty wild.
really creepy.
That one's pretty wild.
Yeah, did you watch Mickey 17? That came out
fuck
recently.
is
It's
that?
a movie. That movie's fucking wild too. It's about like this guy who signs up. It's like in the near future, like 40, 50 years from now, and they're sending people to space to go work in like camps, and it all dissolves, and they're like rushing out, and he just signs up to basically be this the guinea pig of the ship he's getting onto, because they can reprint people in this future.
That's fucking crazy.
And
And this is
he
called
just-
what?
Mickey 17.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and it's a good. It's a little tough to get through, I'd say, in some parts, because sometimes it drags. But overall, it's worth a finish to watch, even if you're like dragging with it. It's pretty fun story, and of space travel and near our future space travel, what it could end up being. And there's a very like Donald Trumpian character in the movie that's pretty funny, played by the Incredible Hulk, which is his name. I think who plays that.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo plays like a Trump-like character on the ship, and it's dark comedy, but yeah, it's a pretty fun movie.
Mickey
17. Yeah,
I'll check it out. That sounds cool. Did you ever? We talked about it before, I think, but did you ever check out the Duncan Trussell animation series?
No, I think about it all the time, but no, I've never
the podcast
never watched it.
That was a good one. What we watched? Oh boy, I've been on. Honestly, one of the tightest shows I've ever seen in my life. I'd put it up there. The top shows of my life is Silo on Apple TV.
Silo.
Fuck it
Never even
hard,
heard of that
boy.
one.
It's based off of these books, these 3 books called Silo, Silo, Rust, and maybe Dust or something like that. I don't remember what's by. 3 books, but they turned it into 4 seasons. The first 2 seasons are out. They just finished filming. They'll be releasing hopefully soon the 3rd season, but then they're already about to shoot the 4th season to run it through and finish it.
What's it?
It's
the premise?
Oh man, so it's some kind of post-apocalyptic type movie. You've got this community, this like civilization type of community. Like they say, it's about 10,000 people or so, and they live underground in this silo that just goes up and down, like just levels, hundreds of levels down underground, like 100 and some levels underground, and it's it's a really dope show, and there's wild shit going on right away. There's like a lot of conspiracy type mystery going on, and but at the same time, there's this really dope, complex human and social aspect to like the silo itself, classes in the silo itself, the hierarchy of like authority, and then like and then again it's like a mystery type of thriller type joint.
I watched something similar. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was on, I think, the Peacock one, but it was like post-apocalyptic in this massive cave that they found and repurposed because they knew the world was going to end, and they only took 3,000 or 30,000 people they like handpicked, and goes through like the conspiracy that kills the current president right at the first episode or second episode, and goes through like trying to figure out who.
And that's which show?
I can't remember the name of it.
Sounds tight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. This guy, I don't even know the actor's name, but he's real good too. Yeah, I don't remember the name, but that show that was pretty fun, like little political mystery drama kind of action, little bit of action, but it was pretty good. That one, I think.
What you can do? You go play the Silo trailer. That's what you should have done. And then I saw in the chat, Jennifer, my love, what up? Said Roar on Apple TV is tight. We watched Roar. That shit was dope.
Roar like a lion.
Yeah, it's a feminist show, kind of like
feminist show.
Yeah, and it's really dope. Like it's and it's a little Black Mirror-esque. There are a couple things where I'm like, that's not my favorite, but I get that they're like they're also appealing to a wider audience in some ways. So they sacrifice, in my mind, what would be like the film, the artistic part of filming or storytelling for sometimes a little. Yeah, no, whatever. But otherwise, overall, great show. And yeah, it's got this kind of, it's an anthology, right? Is that right? And each one's a different story, but they're like plays on the. Somebody want to grab that? That's us.
Yeah.
They're like plays on tropes about that specifically women going through, especially with like men in relationships or at the job, the workplace. You know what I mean?
Do I need to go help Eric?
I don't know. It sounds like it. I'll stand right here though. Also, Mrs. DiLisio, what up, Mama DiLisio? She also said, I can't see it on the screen anymore, so even if you chat it to me, I won't know. But you said something that I've seen. Oh, Sandman on Netflix, based off of I know the author's name. Starts with N. Neil Gaiman. For I think he's an English cat, but dope author. Wrote one of my favorite books, Neverwhere. But no, this cat did. It's based off of like a graphic novel he wrote, Sandman, and it's some crazy fantasy dream world type shit. And I don't remember fully the story. I guess I don't want to give it away anyways, but I do remember it was really tight. Got to go back and check that one out. Sounds like the dogs are calming down. Having dogs is weird. Dogs are fucking weird. They're just these little wolves 10,000 years ago. They were all just wolves, and then some of them wolves got close to the fire. Was like, hey, what up? Can I get some? Started being cool with humans. Realized that like, oh, if I kind of help them, they'll help me. And then motherfuckers in different places of the world all just were like, yeah, dogs are cool. I mean, wolves. These ones. Let's just keep breeding these ones that are cool, nice to us. And now we got this pug that can't breathe.
She's not a pug.
Now we got this French bulldog that can't breathe.
Yeah, she actually identifies as a bulldozer.
She's Italiano.
That's right. She's a bulldozer.
Bulldozer.
Bulldozer. Yeah. Yeah, I'm such a big fan of my dogs that I write fan fiction in my head about my dogs. I got whole backstories. They're actually from the Star Wars universe.
That's
Funny
great.
enough that we talked about that. Used to be some droids.
See, that tells you the difference between our personalities, because I also have a backstory for my cat, and she's from the West Side.
That's not a backstory, isn't that the truth?
Yeah, sure is. And shout out to Mama Jane's that delivered this cheese pizza, because my boy don't eat pork or beef, and that's the only thing really worth putting on pizza. So besides cheese, fuck it.
Yeah. It's good enough on its own. Seems like it's really hot though. Can confirm, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
But it really helps with the battery taste from that oyster beer.
Yeah, because I don't really want any more of that beer. It's fine to try.
I'm not gonna fucking let it go. Your dog's about to get yours, but
Hey. No.
I feel like people are here. I'm going for it. See, again, they do this thing, and they don't know that they look cute to us. They just know that when they look like that, we give them shit.
Yeah, they're smart. They're smart. One of them is smarter than the other between these two.
Is the small one the smart one?
Didn't you? Which one got stuck?
Oh, I don't know. Which one got stuck?
The small one. The big one had to show her how to get out. Even when Eric was trying to. She got stuck because she wouldn't walk past that thing sticking out of the bag. She couldn't get past it, and she was kind of freaking out because she couldn't get out, and she didn't know to walk the other way.
Poor thing.
Yeah, she's special. She's my mama.
You know what?
I can't read any of that. It's so small.
Orale Bonavide.
No tortilla, eh?
What up,
Is that what
Spoke?
it says?
Hey, I just texted Spoke earlier. My fault. Love you, my dog. I owe my dog Big, because he hit me up a few weeks ago asking about the podcast, saying he was trying to do something tight, and I being in the middle, not an excuse, but in reality, I was trying to juggle a bunch of things, and that one I dropped. So my bad, my dog. I also sent him your number though, and let him know that I'm not allowed to be the podcast communicator when it comes to that type of stuff, because can't be letting motherfuckers be sitting on red, especially the homies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Justin doesn't know how to juggle. That's the big issue.
I am
here.
not good at juggling, no,
Yeah.
sir. I got
He went to clown school for 2 days, and then they asked him to leave.
Oh yeah,
That's
they're
how
like, you're
bad
no
he is.
clown. And I said, I
Yeah.
knew it.
It's like, dang it. As he walked away, and his shoes were like,
I knew it.
not a clown. Oh, gosh.
All right, now
now
I can
you
read
make me look like I'm looking at my dad's phone.
Oh
or
yeah, so
something.
then
Jesus.
look, Mama DiLisio talk about season 2 with Sandman. I was talking about that when you guys are gone, but Sandman season 2 coming out in July. That's pretty tight because the first season is dope. It's
Sandman.
I was saying it's a an interpretation of Neil Gaiman's graphic novel, and I fuck with Neil Gaiman as an author.
Okay. Yeah, you read any good books recently? Any good?
I haven't, man.
reads?
Honestly, I haven't read at all in like the last few months. I think I did. I'm a little bit probably about a quarter of the way into Marcus Aurelius. What do they call it? It's got a name, but it's essentially a collection of journal entries.
Oh,
And
spicy.
no, it's pretty wild though. It's pretty cool. It's wild to read. It's wild because it's not wild like it's got some concepts and some stuff, and a lot of it is like, you know, it is nice morally to read in that way, and they're like good. Some things are like kind of like good, like laws to live by. You know what I mean, about kindness and things like that. But they're like it's almost written as like, because he's, I guess in the first book he was like, they're mostly just notes to himself. You know, and so he's kind of like just documenting on this piece of paper to himself, like, okay, this is what I learned from this person, like these things he wants to remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like the whole thing, because of the way it's collected, it was never really intended for like public consumption. It's like they're notes to himself about stuff, but at the same time, like, you know, he was a philosopher, so and a leader.
Yeah.
And you know, a thinker of sorts. So he was like constantly taking notes and doing these like laws and rules and thoughts to himself about stuff.
What time period is this? I don't know.
Marcus Aurelius is fucking 480, 380, something like that. 121. So 100 years after Jesus.
100 years after Jesus.
100 and dozen
That's
or two
fresh
years.
Jesus. That's real fresh.
Well, and it's
Jesus.
wild, and that's what's wild about it, is it's wild to like read, you know, these things that somebody wrote to themselves. Like, even if, you know, sometimes like because he's you know, I'm like reading it and I'm like he's trying to find his morals, and he's struggling with like with the way like it is to be a leader, and how you're rich and how you're treated, and how to be, you know, better and more humble and more, you have more humility. And then so like, I don't know, he'll say these things that his dad taught him about this and this and this, and then in the next one it'll be like about this and treating your slaves well, and you know, and like, and you're like, oh shit, but it's like, it doesn't make what he's saying bad. It just means that he lives in a different place where those things weren't connected, and we realize now, of course, that they are connected. And you know, and I'm sure they knew it, and you could read they knew in some ways that was connected, and like he struggles, like you see him struggling with those thoughts and these things, and it's just wild to read a motherfucker like that, because this motherfucker was in charge of Rome and shit at the time, you know. So like, he's the one that if you guys watch Gladiator, he's the one that Gladiator taught the old man that dies. That's Marcus Aurelius, I believe. He's the.
I thought Marcus Aurelius was his dad. No.
No, because he's the old man who dies. Because then Joaquin Phoenix's character takes over. You know what I mean? And that was his dad, but his dad was like Marcus Aurelius or whatever. You know, either that or he refers to him like he's the successor of Marcus Aurelius. I'm pretty sure he's Marcus Aurelius though in that movie. In any case, though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that about Gladiator shit. Like, and I don't know how historically correct, but at the same time, it's like relatively close. You know.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius did some wild shit too, and like, I mean, all the leaders do. And yeah. Anyways, so just to read a journal that's 2,000 years old.
Right. I'm really into
is dope.
Older stories. Have I ever told you about I think it's called the Oldest Stories podcast? This guy just basically goes through the oldest written stories ever that are written in like cuneiform or however you say that word.
Cuneiform.
Yeah. And he tells them like in a not a modern context, but just like as a modern historian understands it, and goes through starting with like the earliest written stories and goes through all of them. I've listened to probably like, I don't know, 30 or 40 of them. And because some of them are longer than one episode to tell the whole like epic and the whole story. And It's crazy shit, right? Because this is like coming off of stone tablets that like some stuff you have to like kind of fill in the gaps based on historical evidence of things, of what's around and what has been archaeologically discovered, you know? And so you got to fill in some stuff because it's tough to have the full story sometime when things were written in stone because it breaks. But it's so good because like for me, you hear all the same stories. Like all of these stories are basically the Marvel movies. Pretty much. Like they're just like, they're hard. And like, but it also like, this is before the Christian God exists. This is before like any of that, way before all that, but gods still exist. Gods are written about. They just exist in a much different aspect, almost in a way that like most people have like individual gods that they follow. And there's hundreds of them across a world of people who believe in God. And some people will acknowledge that there's other gods, but they have their own gods they pray to, and like specific to, you know, just who they are and where they're at, their family, all these other things. But yeah, a lot of just like superhumans or demigods, a lot of sex, a lot of like love triangles, lots of like long adventurous
and
travels.
This podcast is called what?
The oldest stories.
The oldest stories.
Yeah, so good.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that reminds me though of the Hardcore History podcast, so with Dan Carlin. And that one is, I listened to like King of Kings, which is it's like a fucking 5-part. Every part is fucking 4 to 6 hours long. But he's documenting like from, you know, he's going over the history from, you know, Babylon up to the Romans. And the thing is that like we hear so much about the Romans and all that stuff, and he even explains, he's like, but the Assyrians were around for way longer. The Akkadians were around for way longer.
Yeah.
The fucking you know, like all these civilizations that were around for much longer, they ruled much bigger places. But the difference was that, and we even have their documents, but the difference was their writing style wasn't storytelling. So they would factually document stuff. So there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of like personal stories that come out of it. So we don't learn about it in the same way because they have the documents, but they say stuff like Assyrians, you know, conquered Akkadians at
their records
at this, and this person did this and fed their, you know, this person's leader's children to himself, to his, you know, it'll say like shit like that. And you're like, what the fuck? And then they might have like a small record of like somebody else saying, and then they put together like the story where it's like dude, this dude had you know, he was so ruthless that like, you know, he would conquer whatever, and he had somebody who betrayed him and invited that dude over for dinner, and then after dinner was done, it was like that was your son in there. And then that's like their style of storytelling, where you don't know if it's actually how much of it is true or how much of it is kind of like a flex, like a flex or a movie or some kind of like, you know, and it's like, and so it was just really dope. Cause you're hearing like these words from so many, you know, thousands of years ago. Fucking crazy.
Yeah. I also love the Revolutions podcast. If you have not checked out the Revolutions podcast, so good. The guy who does it was just on Theo Vaughn, actually. With him, Mike Dimes or something.
Oh, okay.
Like
I didn't watch that one because I don't know who that is. But yeah, I'll watch it.
So good. I'm listening to the Spanish American Revolution right now, which is like all in like South America and Venezuela and it getting started. And you know, these are like, he does them in seasons per like revolution. Like the American Revolution, definitely start there. If you're like, nah, I don't know if I'll be interested. The American Revolution is so good, where he goes through like the days leading up to or not days, but months leading up to like the signing of the Declaration of Independence, what actually goes on there. Cause really that shit was written by like one dude who just showed up early and then wrote the whole thing. And then all the other guys showed up like a week later and signed it and was like, I think it was like James Monroe or something like that. Pretty much wrote what we consider this like all-knowing document. It was written by one man 230 years ago, some shit like that. 200. Oh, fucking no. But that podcast, so good.
Crazy.
And now I don't even know where I'm so far behind in the seasons. Now, like all the new ones that are coming out, just they're like the season is called Mars. So I have no idea what the fuck that's about. If it's like a fictional revolution or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's called Mars. But yeah, he's got American Revolution, French Revolution, Haitian Revolution, I think I already said American, Spanish American Revolution, English Revolution. I think that's where it starts, is like the, you know, like all the king revolutions that you kind of will be familiar with hearing some of the names and people involved, because I'm no historian, but you know, you learn a lot. You hear all these things and these people and what they're famous for, then you just get all this detail into this podcast of what they're thinking and all this, like
The
Revolutions podcast is just called Revolutions. Yeah, so good. Love Revolutions.
Bet. Adding it to my list now.
You regularly listen to Theo Vaughn's podcast? Or just selectively by who's on there?
Selectively by who's on there, and I have a bunch of podcasts I follow like that.
Yeah,
so
I have a couple. I don't follow that one because I don't really like Theo Vaughn, but
I do. He's fucking hilarious.
I agree. He is pretty funny, but that's not why I don't like him. I just don't. I think he's just really dumb, and I get mad at how dumb he is.
Hey, I'll tell you what. He has one of the top, if not the number one podcast in the world, and he's been one of those people that like these, especially these conservative circles, you know, think is like, you know, somebody to pay attention to. And he's been very vocal the last month, 2 months, 3 months about, like, as soon as he kind of learned it. Because again, he's kind of, you know, he's naive in a sense, and so he's learned it. He's been real big. He even asked JD Vance about
I watched the JD Vance.
About the Gaza Gaza genocide, and just about how that's not, you know, and that stuff's important to hear from those voices, that, because again, it's like, yeah, I mean, he's not, I mean, I think his style of humor and comedy is like very odd, an oddball, and like just saying strange things, and it appeals to, like, again, a younger, wider audience. And excuse me, a lot of times those cats don't they're not really friendly to the thinking, you know, and to the important things. And I feel like he like, you know, when it's up there, he's like, he's not one of those people who read it and saw it and then just dismiss it, was like, oh, that's not my problem.
Yeah,
he saw immediately, like, you know.
Yeah, he seems to have some values, you know. I'm not saying he doesn't. I just, yeah, it was hard to listen to him like talk to JD Vance, because no thanks, but it was an interesting podcast here. Did you see fucking the Tucker Carlson? What's that serial killer's name? Fuck, what's it?
Fucking flaming that fool.
Jeez Louise, like, fuck Tucker Carlson too, but man, he cooked that dude's lunch that day. So funny.
And Crystal Ball, off of Breaking Points, of course, she made the point, and I liked it. Like, I felt it in that moment. She's like it's like, obviously Tucker Carlson is saying do some wild shit as far as, like, politically, but it's like you can absolutely see why the right likes him so much, you know. Like, it's because when he gets it, you know, when he goes in on somebody, he goes in on somebody, you know, and he's really good at it. And it's like, well, yeah. At the same time, I don't know. Do you think that's
Ted
I feel like
Cruz? That's his name, Ted Cruz.
I feel like, though, there's another, like, there's something new. So it was obviously new, and I thought it was going to be 2 elections ago, but really it's like more this election was the most new in that, like, promotion media kind of way, where the media lost a lot of its influence. And the media became these podcasts and these other things that have, like,
you just saw what happened in New York, right?
Yeah.
And look at how he did it.
Zorhan or whatever.
With fucking shorts and reels. He won the fucking New York mayoral like
33 years old.
Pretty much. And electing somebody who is a democratic socialist in New York is pretty crazy. And
millions of people came out and he won overwhelmingly.
Yeah. Like what Cuomo conceded, that Cuomo sapien conceded like 90 minutes after the last vote call. And which is crazy. That's like a whomping, like especially, but like you're saying, Cuomo only put money into TV ads, didn't do anything else but put shit into TV ads. Like
and then he ran a whack campaign too. His campaign the whole time was like, this guy, he's young and he's socialist and he's a
boogeyman. I'm what New York needs because I'm New York. I'm a corrupt piece of shit, real estate mogul, dick sucking.
But again, that's so when you see stuff like this happening on the left, and then on the right you have like the Tucker Carlson's, like just going in on Ted Cruz about war and those types of things, right? Like they're a lot louder now because Tucker Carlson used to be more of a war hawk, like when he was in Fox, and now that he's by himself, he's like he's allowed almost to be this other thing, and maybe that was the way it always was. Maybe he figured out more stuff. I don't know, but in any case, it's like I don't know. So it's like with all the changes that way, it's like how volatile are the things when the influential voices are free to speak, you know, in these ways. And we're seeing it, of course, like we get annoyed because of the way that it happens. But it's like when with the internet, one thing we've talked about is like, oh, you know, everything happens on the internet and you can see everything and there's all this misinformation and everything. But I will say that what happens, I think the most, is that it's hard for things to remain false forever, right? Like people can stand forever about January 6th, right? But like most of the rational people who are not fully like devoted to their team in this weird team way are like, dude, that was you know, homeboy essentially with, I don't want to call it a riot, but he incited a mob of motherfuckers to definitely invade a government building. You know, and like, and that's literally the definition of an insurrection. And it's just, you know, it's like this idea that we have to play these games, but it's like I feel like when it first happened, there was so many people that like just denied, you know, but over time, like the general populace, even if they don't say it out loud, those people are kind of like, a lot more people at the very least are like, you come around. You figure it out. Like time takes that thing from you. And with the internet and with all the information, it's like, sure, there's a lot of misinformation, but it's also like, it's almost things come around faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think January 6th is an interesting event because if you think back to that time after the election, because right, that didn't happen immediately after. That happens like a couple months after the election is called for Biden, right? And in between that, Trump was pretty much ready to quit. If you remember, he was like, I'm going to do other stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then this shit happens and Trump's back in. And if you look at the success of this political statement, I think is the kindest way we can put what happened there. When you look at the success of that statement, where now all those people are out of jail and Trump's in the White House, pretty successful campaign.
Yeah.
Now, I point that out because I think you have to acknowledge the power of a political statement like that does use a group of people to make a statement, the power of it when there is a political backing behind it. And that's the problem that the fucking Democrats have when riots happen in LA or political statements happen in LA around this. They fucking don't stand behind anything because they don't mean anything and they want all the same things the Republicans want anyway. So they don't stand up and sit with the protesters. They don't. But when it does happen, when a political figure backs a protest or even semi-backs, because like you said, you don't want to say he incited it, but that shit would have never happened without him saying the things he said, doing the things he did, and for the last 4 years of that.
Because when you say the word incite, right, somebody is going to take the literal definition and be like, well, he did not tell people to go do this thing directly. And you can even argue that in some ways he did tell them to go directly, but at the same time, you can argue that it can't, and then becomes a muddy waters, and then that's how people try to win an argument about a thing. And it's like, well, that's the point, is it's like when you're winning the argument off of these just semantics. Yeah, like it. They don't hold forever, and we know that about anything. And
Well, and that's the democratic thing too. Of like,
I just think it's happening faster.
Like
now that
we
the
need
internet's
to, we can't be looting and we can't be burning cars because that's destruction of property. I'm all for it. Like the amount of comments I saw about people like fucking bootlicking bullshit of like, I'm all for immigrant rights, but we should not be burning cars and blah blah blah. And it's like, this is how this stuff happens. And when you can't see past that kind of shit, the destruction of property is it's worse to you than the destruction of human lives. Your shit's fucked up and you're not understanding the point. You're just fucking along for the ride of this liberal train of, immigration's not so bad, but I'm this.
Well, and people are always looking to be contrarians too. So like if everybody does one thing, there's always going to be people trying to do what they see is the difference. And then again, I think a lot of people will let like their political team will have them doing like and not even necessarily believing. I think a lot of times they're just like saying these things.
They're repeating.
But if we were to break it down in other words and hear what they actually wanted, they would end up saying something closer to what like we're trying, what maybe me and you might be like trying to convince them about how, immigrant families and what it's, they'll turn around and tell you about that they know they're immigrant friend, blah, blah, but they did it the right way and all this stuff. And it's just like, well, I hear that there's a right way and a wrong way, but the entire process is politicized, and anything that's politicized is going to be, used in all the wrong and used politically is just what I'm trying to say. Like, and then it becomes a political tool, and then it's not an actual thing anymore. It's just a facade for this political tool, and then in reality, it's like, well, there's actual people that are affected by these things. And for, so again, then when you explain and you talk about, you give a situation and somebody will go, well, in that case, I mean, it's this and that. And it's like, well, I mean, that's kind of the point, is what you're saying entirely contradicts that. But, you're staunch in your, I don't even want to call it an ideology. I feel like it's just
like a support or a backing.
I think there's a human thing in us that wants, like, there's a human programming that feels important. We feel needed by the community when we feel smart. And I don't know if, like, because in school we don't really train. We train in school to listen to what they tell us. And that has two effects. Some people go through and then they take all that stuff in and they retain it and they move on. And some people are like, don't fucking tell me what to think. How do I even know what you're telling me is true? Right? And in reality, it's like we should be learning how to think better. Like learning how to discern, not just like we shouldn't be learning so many of the informational type of facts, and we should be learning more concepts of like, how do I discern bullshit from not bullshit? How do I know when people are lying to me? Like how do I manage the social dynamics of or culture of a community or an office or a schoolroom or whatever it is, right? Like how do I like see, like get better at understanding other people and doing these things? And instead of learning that, we learn all this other shit. So again, you get these back and forths, but everybody wants to be smart. So then you end up with a whole set of people that, like, some people, are kind of analytical more in thinking, and so they like, rationalize and do all these other more analyzing type of thoughts. And some people are full on emotion, and that full on emotion, it's easy to get fed emotionally riling information. And then I feel like it's human nature to just want to be the smart one,
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to be
Well,
smarter than somebody.
accepted.
I'm smarter than the liberals. I'm smarter than the fucking, than the Nazis or the conservatives or whatever I'm calling them. And it's just like half of it is like, there's a point where, like, I don't know if anybody's actually paying attention to the shit they're saying. I think they're just regurgitating shit because they want to be the smart one.
Well, and if not the smart one, accepted by the group or a group.
Oh,
right?
fucking A.
Acceptance is that's a I think it's
Where it all comes from.
It's a human need, right?
100%.
One of the hierarchies.
We're
of
social
needs.
creatures. We don't
No, I mean,
survive
like-
well by ourselves.
What is pull up the hierarchy of? I think it's Maslow. No.
Yeah, the fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I think like
the
social or
social-
something like that is in there. But it is a human need, and acceptance from the group. When you say the things the group says, you feel like you're being accepted, right? When you act like the group is. What is it? Social belonging.
So it's psychological on the bottom, and then safety needs, and then love and belonging in the middle.
Belonging is
and then it's
that need.
Your esteem, your self-esteem, and then what's the top one there?
Actualization.
Actualization. Yeah, and I mean, yeah.
But yeah, definitely a need in humans to feel together and accepted, and I think that's part of it. And this is all very well researched and understood in how they project their messages across all of what we see and have for since television has been invented, since newspapers have been around, since most media that has been driven by forces of people that have the money that put into these things to control and very purposefully tell people their message in ways that makes that happen even easier, right? That's what you might call propaganda. Right?
Yeah.
Which is most of cable television seems to just have become that. Like, how many shows do you see that are just like liberal propaganda or opposite side fucking conservative propaganda? Like the whole Tyler Sheridan series, I think, has a very neoconservative like vibe to it. And you watch shows on anything on NBC, pretty much it has like a very liberal, like toted vibe in it. And just even like the movie I mentioned earlier, where we see all these caricatures of Trump in movies currently, and you're seeing it. I see it in so many movies, right? Like that, it's not Trump. They're not playing Trump, but they're playing Trump, right? Just with a different name, but it's a character that's like becoming a character, and like that's how propaganda works and propagates to societies and communities to make people think a certain type of way. And a lot of the stuff that we do in the propaganda we're exposed to is to get us to think that we deserve better than other humans for one reason or another, whether there's this made up border between us, whether they speak different languages, whether the color of their skin is different than yours. There is something about you that is special and you deserve better, and those people are just what has to be sacrificed so that we can have this.
Yeah.
And
no doubt,
it's terrifying, right? And that's why it's so hard to argue with.
So how do we get past it? Let's start making our way down so we don't end up with another 2-hour podcast. Let's try to keep this one to an hour. We're at about an hour right now. Yeah.
Well, I think we have to talk about the the name of the podcast today and kind of why we named it that, because there's some pretty serious stuff happening in the world around nuclear weapons and around powers in the Middle
and the propaganda.
Everywhere.
You know what the wildest pieces of propaganda that I've seen that like is resonating with like my conservative cousins or the people that like that I feel like fall victim to the Fox News.
It's in their algorithm. They got the conservative propaganda.
And I feel like one of the pieces of propaganda that really fucks with me that I'm like, it stresses me to not reply, because I know replying is not constructive. It doesn't mean anything, right? There's no way that some Facebook comment I say is going to make somebody open their mind. But it's just like this thing that they keep saying, and I've seen a couple cousins say it. I have a lot of cousins for what it's worth, guys. I see a couple cousins say it, and it's this idea like that Democrats or liberals want Iran to have a nuke. Like that's the if you're not okay with the president going outside of Congress to strike a country we're not at war with in a warlike action, which is essentially against our Constitution. If you're not okay with that, then you must want Iran to develop nuclear weapons. And it's just like this such a simplification of first of all, and those things don't equate. I don't even understand how that goes in, but it's like the simplification of this really complex and dangerous situation we have, where a country that is not per our own intelligence. You want to talk about America first? Well, American intelligence, we have zero intelligence that tells us that Iran is closer to making a nuke. We're only listening to Israel, and Israel is acting upon Netanyahu's and his administration's need to maintain war so that he can, per their constitution, maintain power. Because right before October 7th, they, for the months leading up to that, they were ready to their equivalent of impeach Netanyahu, get rid of him, and get a new leader in there because he was very, very unpopular within Israel. And then October 7th happened, which was a blessing to him, and he maintained this war against the citizens of a country that is they already weren't acknowledging, and then have only treated with apartheid nonsense, and then are actively committing a genocide, and we're like funding it, and then we're just like, it becomes political, where it's like, if you're not there, then those people, oh, you want Hamas to blah blah, and I'm like, no, I want kids to stop being starved to death.
Right.
I want them to stop being
people
bombed
to
and
stop
shot
being attacked when they go for aid.
Dude, and it's like, these are war crimes. I want the hospitals to stop being bombed. I want the fucking kids. Like these are all war, and they're on video, and you can find them online. And that's why the Theo Vons of the world are turning around and being like, hey, I know I was invited by Donald Trump to sit at his inauguration, and I fucking sat there and his fucking all the stuff. And I'm telling you right now that fucking kids are dying in Gaza, and I don't think that's tight. That's pretty whack. Like, this basic stuff, but again, you get caught up in these things, and then it becomes like Iran. No, Iran is getting accused by Israel because Israel is becoming the demon of the world because of what they're doing in Gaza, and America is the only one falling to the fucking propaganda. Everybody else is like, what the fuck is going on?
Propaganda? America's not falling for anything. America's complicit in all of it.
No, but the citizens are falling for the AIPAC propaganda, and that's why it's okay, and that's why we're not charged. There's not fucking riots, and there's riots in the streets for ICE instead of Gaza.
And when there were protests, what they do to the protest, people who were protesting it, very, very calm protests across country.
They started deporting kids that are here, fucking people that are here learning. And again, it's just like this. It's just like, this is all very basic stuff. But when they try to play these narratives and they simplify them to these things that don't even make sense. And when I watch my cousin or something like fall victim to this shit, I'm just like, God damn it! Like, how are you this like naive? And at one point, is it just ignorance because you don't want to like see any other side, because you've convinced yourself that you're part of this team, and you're a part of it the way that Broncos fucking fans are diehard Raider haters, no matter if that's their fucking friend or not. Like, it's this weird thing where dudes will fight.
My cousin plays for the Raiders, football. But I still am a Broncos fan.
And they'll these fools will fight over who's winning a football game.
Yeah.
And that same mentality, I promise you, is the one that's fueling this bullshit of this, like, and it's like, in reality, when we talk about stuff, it's if they took the names out of them and they just said country A was doing this to these people. You don't even gotta call them a country, just call them people.
Yeah.
And fucking everybody in the world would be like, that's whack, don't do that.
Right.
That's not okay. But then when they try to fight, anyways, it's just bullshit. And so bombing Iran in an unconstitutional way, hey, you know what? We're lucky that Iran did to us what they did to Israel 6 months ago, when Israel assassinated one of their fucking leaders.
Yep.
In Turkey. They're one of their leaders, or in Qatar, and there was one of their leaders was in Turkey or Qatar, and fucking Israel assassinated them.
This leader, like, to make y'all give you an analogy of what might be the feeling, is essentially if somebody assassinated General Patton. Like, that's how famous this general was.
Yeah, fucking in Iran,
and that he was
Iran,
like beloved by the people, a war hero, like a general that was like people mourn this loss, and he goes to I don't think it was Turkey.
I think it was
he
Qatar
goes to
then.
Syria.
No, I think it was Qatar.
No, he goes to Iraq because he goes.
sure?
I'm pretty sure he goes to Iraq, and then they fucking kill him in
Whatever
Iraq.
it is, they got him. And again,
Soleimani, I think, is his name. Right?
Israel goes and takes this dude out, and again is like assassinates this dude for like, and again Iran does a showcase retaliation where they essentially go like, hey, you know that military base that you guys aren't really using over there, that you only have a couple people? You should probably tell those people to leave in the next 12 hours because at 6 p.m. tonight,
we're fuck it up.
There's going to be some stuff going on and we're going to retaliate and get you back.
Yep.
Right? So everybody leaves and then they shoot a couple fucking missiles over there and they know half of them are going to get shot down and then the other ones make it through and there's nobody fucking there so nobody gets hurt and then they go, see, that's what we could do if you guys fuck with us again. In the most like, please don't fucking shoot us again type fucking like world stage type way, dude.
Yeah.
And they did that.
We
shit
don't want the smoke, but if you come again, we're going to bring it.
Now, fucking Israel does it again. Then they shoot back. All this stuff. Then America fucking bombs them. And you know how they retaliated to us? The exact same way.
Yep.
They're like, hey, you know that fucking base in Qatar that you guys have? Well, you know, you should probably leave the people because at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to throw rocks over there. And essentially they just do this thing where there's zero casualties, minimal damage. Totally explained, but it's totally world stage of like, we have to do something back. We can't not do something or somebody else is just going to invade us and take all of our oil. So it don't really work that way. So we got to do something back, but please stop fucking shooting us. And it's like, it's the world equivalent of like fucking tucking your tail between your legs and just waving a white flag on the world stage in war, as far as war in the modern age is concerned. And we're now waiting and hoping that Israel doesn't continue, and they're going to.
They already bombed Lebanon, another country,
and they're
in
going
between
to,
this called ceasefire and this ceasefire.
And none of it has anything to do with anything that has anything to do with us. It's all entirely fucking Netanyahu trying to maintain power. And if you don't believe me, look this shit up. It's fucking. This is all public. It's all really easy stuff. This isn't fucking political. This person or that person. Nobody's fucking best friends with Netanyahu. We're not talking about Jewish people as a whole. We're not talking about anti-Semitism and that we want Jewish people to not have a land. That's not what the fuck. We're talking about fucking Netanyahu is a fucking war hawk who knows that if he maintains war, he will maintain power in the Middle East, and that he's using literally Trump's fucking ego as his puppet and he's going, but like, dude, even in U.S. intelligence said that when Israel hit Iran, that they didn't tell us that. It was all caught on surprise, and literally that day Trump was on some like, these guys are about to sign, and they know if they sign this treaty, then Israel doesn't have any backing to do any of this shit anymore. Then they can't be in war, and if they're not in war, then what the fuck are they gonna do? Because Netanyahu needs to maintain some shit, and if he keeps just killing Palestinians, somebody's gonna fucking invade him. Like so. Like it's like he's just maintained. He don't give a fuck that Iran is backed by Russia and China. He didn't give a fuck that Russia and China would be essentially our proxy war in the middle. And that's how these wars start. That's how this shit goes. And you guys motherfuckers who support this shit are naive. You're not paying attention. You're listening to the wrong motherfuckers, and you need to listen to everybody, not just the motherfucker that you like. You need to listen to everybody and then make a decision about what you think is going on in Israel. Because in reality, if history repeats itself, or if history rhymes, as fucking what is it? Mark Twain said that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right? Charlie Crockett just mentioned that quote the other day. Shout out Charlie, but I've always liked that quote. And in any case, if it rhymes, then fucking Netanyahu rhymes with Hitler. And not because he's going to be the one we're not talking about in a way where he's fucking putting people in gas chambers, but we're talking about a way where he's getting rid of an entire race of people that he feels like are in his way, and that he doesn't give a fuck if the entire world goes to war over it. Fucking A. That's all I got to goddamn say about that bullshit.
And I think you're 100% correct. I also think, though, you're being pretty kind, because I think it's worse than that, because I don't think the United States is as separated from the intentions here as I think you're.
Well, I think a lot of the administration maybe is. I think there's a lot of war hawks in there. I think there's a lot of people that do hold that they're clashing inside the government. It's what holds us down from just being from just being the imperialistic shit that Star Wars was written about in the first place. Because Star Wars, to go ahead and bring that back, is literally about American imperialism. That's what the whole fucking story was written about. And for what it's worth, again, I fuck with these things. That's why I tried to give it a chance, and it was like they can't act. But that's not the fucking point. Act or not, Netanyahu can't fucking act, and somehow we keep fucking giving him all of our billions of dollars, but for fucking some stupid small amount, we could all have health care. But instead, we're fine bombing children or bombing Iranians or fucking just bombing shit, and we're not fine fucking treating our people. God damn it, I'm done with this goddamn shit.
Yeah, you don't want to hear what I have to say then.
I do, but we do got to wrap up. Let's just save it for again, and let's get another podcast going in soon. Let's not let the lull be the norm. We've got some ideas, y'all, for some more content to get us going. Some more things that you guys could watch, some more entertainment, some more chilling. Who knows if this is it? So we got to get our voices out there, because I got some shit to say about some bitch ass motherfucking Netanyahu's. I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, and I'll just save this for next time, but give you a little teaser, because I do think Iran should have nukes. And that's been.
There's an argument for everybody.
Oh, you couldn't let it go. You couldn't let it go.
Hey, I'm with everybody has nukes, and again, what am I going to do? I live in America, where I believe that everybody should have a gun, and I believe in the Second Amendment and how that amendment goes, and all the liberals get fucking mad at me, and they think I'm a goddamn conservative because I believe that everybody should have the right to protect themselves. Now, if I believe that on an American citizen level, then fundamentally, I would have to essentially believe that on a global scale, or else I'm a hypocrite. And I ain't no hypocrite. And I'm talking about.
That's right.
We ain't no hypocrite Columbus out here. And I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hypocrite Columbus. And I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about goddamn right.
Let's wrap this up. Hey, it's been Lone Ranger vs. Tonto in this hoe. We appreciate y'all following through, disagreeing with us. If you feel like we talking some bullshit, go ahead and argue with us. Holler us at the comments. Hit us up. We'll be back if you really want to talk some bullshit. I don't know. If you're interested, maybe we'll have you on and we can argue all together. And for what it's worth, I'm a people person. I'm all love. So even if we disagree, and even if I think you're fucking naive.
Dumb as Theo Von.
Dumb. I fuck with Theo Von. He's funny. In any case, if you dumb as anybody's could be dumb. If you dumb as Forrest Gump, doesn't matter. I still fuck with you as a person. And I don't think that even people who say things I disagree with, I don't think that you are evil inherently. That's it. So if you're down to argue, if not, then don't fucking comment. Be a hoe.
Yeah, or comment. Go for it. We'll still bring the smoke to you. You'll get sucked into an argument. But that's it. Let's go. That's it.
It's the Lone Ranger vs. Tonto up in this hole.